time, so I don't want to start that habit. But our special guest, Representative Derrick Jackson, is already on. So we're going to do our tradition and open up with prayer. Big brother Al, can you open us up in prayer? We can't hear you. You got to unmute your phone.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, we come before your throne of grace on tonight again. Thanking you, Lord, for our organization, Organic Black Men, coming together to discuss concerns and issues with our state of Georgia, with our representative, Derrick Jackson. We pray, Lord, as we inter- interview our dear brother, that we will get a clarity understanding of which way our brother would like to take this state. Lord, we pray that the questions be asked with sincerity and answered with sincerity. We may understand more about our brother and representative, Derrick Jackson. This we do ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I want to thank you, Brother Jackson, for tuning in with us this evening. Um, and I want to allow you to introduce yourself, and then we can proceed with our first question coming in this evening. Thank you so much. Wait a second, I got to unmute your phone. Okay, now I can. So you're unmuted now. Yes, sir.
Here we go. Again, thank you for the invitation. It is great to be with you all this evening. Um, and Brother Emmanuel, it's always great to see you. Give my hellos to your lovely queen, Connie, and to the gentleman that I do not know. Thank you as well, and I look forward to getting to know each of you during the course of this evening. As it was stated, I am Derrick Jackson, and let me just be absolutely clear. Um, if I may, if I may start off this intro in the right way. I did not wake up one morning in search of a title. I did not wake up and thought that governor is something nice to do. I simply decided that I was no longer comfortable to seeing the direction that Georgia was heading. I've been living in Georgia for now 21 years. And the directions that these last 21 years since I've been here, the direction is not good for families. It's not good for our rights, and it's not good for our military members. In fact, John Lewis, the late great John Lewis said, if you see something that's not right, not fair, and unjust, we have a moral obligation to do something. And I'm exercising that moral obligation by bringing forward my 42 years of leadership, experience, and service. 22 years in the United States Navy, retired lieutenant commander, 10 years in corporate America, working for General Electric, facilitating a $1 billion portfolio over 162 countries for GE. And I'm currently serving my 5th term. Next Monday, I will start my 10th legislative session. That's 10 years under that gold dome. That's 42 years, gentlemen, of leadership, experience, and service. Let me be abundantly clear that no other candidate on a Democratic or Republican side, and I'm a Democrat, but there are 11 of us, 7 Democrats and 4 Republicans. No other candidate is more qualified than I am to be the chief executive officer for Georgia. No other candidate can come close to being the commander in chief than I am for Georgia. I'm happily married. My wife and I, we have a beautiful blend of 7 young adults, 4 daughters, and 3 sons, and 2 grandsons. And with that, I look forward to answering your questions.
I thank you, Representative Derrick Jackson, and my wife sends her greeting to you also. I mean, we have a personal connection here, but I really appreciate you taking the time out to come on to speak to our body of members, part of the Voices of Organic Black Men. We're nationwide, a national organization, and a few of our executive committee members will be coming in, but in particularly those who will speak to you today that are a part of our Atlanta, Georgia operation. So these are key individuals here throughout the state of Georgia, men who are on the front line in our communities, making a difference, and very concerned about Georgia. We each of the participants who will ask you a question will be limited to 1 minute on the clock, and then when you start your answer, you will be limited to 3 minutes, and then we will move on because we have some very amazing questions to get some answers to. The questions that we gave to you is given to each and every other gubernatorial candidate that will come before us to answer these particular questions, and then you'll be able to have a copy of the broadcast yourself to use in your messaging and to analyze in terms of so that you can address the needs as you go across our community throughout the state of Georgia. So our first question is coming from Brother Joe. You have to unmute your phone, brother.
I have.
Yes, state your name and what part of the state you live in.
Okay. Representative Jackson, this is Joe Chappelle. I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been here about 24 years now, originally from Florida. I have a question, and it kind of leads back into what you were mentioning about the direction of the state of Georgia. My question is regarding transparency, metrics, and legislative accountability. In the 24 years that I've been here, I've often seen a lot of promises that have been made without any measurable follow through. So the question is, what scorecards, public benchmarks, procurement targets, and ownership metrics would you commit to supporting or sponsoring in the legislature to ensure measurable progress for Black males here in the state of Georgia?
Thank you for the question, Brother Joe. And that question is an excellent question. And there are probably about 4 or 5 dimensions in there when you start talking about metrics and operations and procurement. So, so let me answer your question this way. As governor, the absolute best metric is the voice of the people. There's only one piece of legislation that deals with metrics and efficiency and effectiveness, and that is our $60 billion budget. $60 billion. And the true metric of that budget as governor, I need to make sure it's efficient, it's effective, there are morals, it demonstrates our values on who we are as a state and as a people. When you start talking about procurement, the governor has no role in procurement. But when you start talking about auditing, the governor plays a significant role in making sure the $60 billion are efficiently and effectively dispersed across the state, all 159 counties, all 536 cities. And let me be abundantly clear. When you specifically talk about Black men, I'm gonna need you all to make sure, one, you hold me accountable, but two, if you see something, going back to John Lewis, if you see something that's not right and not fair, you got to let me know. You have to let me know. And because this is a $60 billion budget, and so it's imperative that you all reach out to me and let me know the things that we're doing right and the things that we're doing wrong. Because all the other pieces of legislation, there are only 2 metrics, Brother Joe. You either like the legislation or you don't. There's no metrics really attached to it. But the one specifically is the budget. Did I answer your question?
Thank you. Brother Jeff?
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Jeff Hargrove. Mr. Jackson, thanks so much for taking time out. I'm
Jeff,
in Decatur.
state where you
Yeah,
reside,
I'm in.
Georgia.
Yes, I'm in Decatur, Georgia, which is just north of you. You're in Atlanta, so you know where I am. Now, some of this question may overlap just a tad bit with your ideas on fueling Georgia's economic heartbeat. Currently, there's no statewide blueprint that exists for Black men's economic empowerment. Would you support the co-development of Georgia's Black men's economic empowerment blueprint, funded by the state, governed by community leadership, and tied to measurable outcomes in jobs, land, wealth, and business ownership?
It's an excellent question, Brother Hargrove. As governor, being a Black man, we already have developed not a philosophy, but a program, and to make sure that it enables not just Black men, but for those who are in our communities. Let me give you a perfect example. I have a program that will carve out $1.5 billion of the $15 billion surplus. That $1.5 billion program will be tailored for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Now, of course, you have to apply for this grant, and I'm stressing the word grant. This is not a loan. Up to $50,000, no strings attached. So if you have a small business, Brother Hargrove, and you need a blueprint of a state that empowers us, especially around small businesses, that this $1.5 billion will be the economic engine across all of Georgia. And then what we will do, we will continue to measure the effectiveness of this up to $50,000 grant. Again, you have to apply. And my goal, because I truly believe small businesses and a lot of us on this call, that's where we are. That $50,000 will be able to help you add to your business in terms of hiring more people or increase their wages, because we can talk about wages tonight. And it will also put you in a position to modernize your business. And the reason why I say no strings attached, because I trust you. You don't need a governor breathing down your neck and trying to figure out what you're doing with $50,000. You need a governor that's going to partner with you to help you and your small business grow. And that's going to help all of us across Georgia. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you so much. I want very briefly, one of our executive board national members, James Osborne, is on, and he's one of the guys that he's always talking about the veterans. And you mentioned the veterans, and he's always concerned about the veterans nationally. He's not a part of the Georgia operation, but the national committee. But I just wanted to let him say something very briefly. Brother James Osborne, can you? I unmuted you. Yes,
Yes.
sir.
How you doing? Hey, it's a blessing having you here. I'm a Marine, you Navy. We've been together. Hoorah. I'm glad you had that military experience, because I know that's going to lead Georgia on. I'm from New Jersey, and you had me ready to move to Georgia already. I'm ready to leave Jersey. So you're doing great, man. And so keep doing what you're doing. We'll be praying for you here in New Jersey, and I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome. And we have your total support right here.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Right. Thank you. I'm going to now have Brother Julius. Can you unmute and ask your question?
Yes, sir.
Let them know where
Julius Scott,
live at.
I reside in Conyers, Georgia, which is in Rockdale County. The state and local redevelopment often leads to displacement without accountability. My question is, what legislative to advance to prevent displacement, strengthen HUD Section 3 enforcement, eliminate corruption, and ensure Black men become developers, contractors, and property owners, not displaced residents?
That's an excellent question, Brother Scott. And before I answer your question, I just want to tell Brother Osborne, thank you, brother, for your service. I salute you. And to your question, Brother Scott,
Yes, sir.
I've already introduced legislation over these last 10 years to make sure Black and brown communities are not taxed out of their homes. It's incredulous to me, Brother Scott, that we allow for Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson, you all don't know Miss Johnson, but she's a constituent of mine. And her husband passed away probably about 15 years ago now. But she is 92 and she's being taxed out of her home, Brother Scott. That's wrong, it's not right, and it's not fair. Unfortunately, my bill did not see the light of day on the House of Representative floor. Unfortunately, and again, this is not casting shade on Republicans, but the Republicans control the House and the Senate, and they did not entertain my bill. But if my bill became law, in fact, let me state it a different way, Brother Scott. When I become governor, I'm going to make sure that one, we're not taxed out of our homes. I'm going to make sure that we are equipped in every community, regardless of zip code, that we're going to continue the trajectory on reducing crime. The crime in Georgia, according to GBI and FBI, we're down 30% because we're not just going after gangs, we're going after make sure, and I know gangs are always the boogeyman. That's not my point. The way I'm going to attack crime is increase wages. These young people are snatching pocketbooks, not because they don't like Miss Johnson, a 92-year-old grandmother and great grandmother. They can't find a place to work. And so what we're going to do, Brother Scott, we're going to open up a trade. The last time I checked, it's okay to make good money as a plumber, an electrician, and a carpenter. And these young people, I know when I joined the Navy back in 1983, they were offering young men who got in trouble for misdemeanor, they'll say, you want to go to jail or you want to go in the military? Now, that wasn't my issue, but a lot of my friends who got caught up in the last minute, hanging out with the wrong people at the wrong time, instead of them going to jail, they went into the military and they turned out excellent. And so we got to find pathways, especially for our young men who cannot find employment. Another way we're going to crack down on this, Brother Scott, is that as governor, I'm going to, is my time up?
Yes,
Let me just
sir.
say this final point. Let me just say this final point, if it's okay.
Yes, it is.
Because I think it's critical. Instead of us bringing our children to school at pre-K at the age of 4, my program is to bring the children, especially young Black men, to school at the age of 2. What that would do, now families don't have to worry about the average cost of childcare in Georgia is $1,600. That's $1,600 a month. So now with my program, you can drop your child off to a public school at the age of 2. We don't have to wait till the age of 4. And if we do this right, Brother Scott, we're going to make sure these young Black men can read and write, and their literacy by the time they're at the 3rd grade will be above par. So that way, we're not going to put them in jail by the time they're 13, 14, 15 years of age. We got to get them on the front end. On the front end, Brother Scott, if we do this right, we make sure we paying them appropriate wages, and we get them to school, and then we got mentorship. With that, hopefully I answered the question, how we can deal with keeping us in home, clean up our neighborhoods, and cracking down on crime.
That brings you into our next question. Brother Ben Brooks, you have the floor.
Thank you, Representative, for your time and your presentation today to us and into interacting with us and answering a lot of these questions that we have. Really appreciate your service in the legislature. One of the questions here is with Black farmers. So black farmers, land loss, and agricultural equity, right? So black farmers continue to lose land across Georgia. What legislative action would you take to protect black farmers through land preservation, procurement access, agricultural investment, and reforms within Georgia Agricultural Department? And have you supported any legislation or proposed any legislation in these areas?
Brother Ben, thank you for that question, especially around small black farmers. In fact, we have been meeting with small black farmers since I announced my candidacy last June. I'm gonna just use my grandparents, great grandparents. They started off as farmers, um, and we no longer have the land that was passed down. Heirs property, piece of legislation that we need in Georgia doesn't exist. I've been meeting with small black farmers the last 6 months, and we're going to craft some legislation not only to enable black farmers to keep their land. We met with a black farmer down in Chris, Georgia. He's fourth generation. His family, 4 generations ago, had 1,200 acres, Brother Ben. 1,200 acres. Today, they only own 300. Government should never be in the business of taking our legacy and our land and our worth, our net worth away from us. We need legislation to protect us. And I always suggest, as I told the 21 farmers last month when I met with them outside of Macon and Chris and Warner Robins, I met with them, 21 of them. And I said, if legislation going to create this mess, we're going to need legislation to get us out of it. But more importantly, we need a governor that is bold and will exercise the courage to get it done.
Thank
So
you.
just
And I'm the only candidate that's been talking this bold way. I'm the only candidate that's been meeting with these farmers in a bold way. And I've been on the news. And so the beautiful thing, I'm holding myself accountable by every time I get in front of a microphone telling Georgians what I would do because I want to be on the record.
So just as a follow-up on that, and I'm gonna let you go on the next question is, in your legislative term, was there any legislation that came through that you supported or proposed in that area in terms of black farmers and funding for black farmers?
Yes, sir, we did. 4 years ago, when Hurricane Helene came through, I voted yes to enable. Now, it wasn't for black farmers. I want to be absolutely clear. But we voted $275 million about 4 years ago for farmers to get $275 million in aid. And unfortunately, black farmers probably only got about 10% of it.
Mm. Brothers,
And it's wrong.
our next question, Brother Sammy,
It's wrong.
and let them know where you're from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm Pastor James, Destiny Worship Center, Augusta, Georgia. 27 years in the Army, so I guess we got the Army, we got everybody, got the Marines, we got everybody up in here today. Representative, thank you for your service. My question is reference the disengaged black male voters. The black male voters' participation continues to decline, and the accent of the question is: beyond the election, what policy-driven strategy would you advance to re-engage black men through respect, inclusion, and shared governance, and not just outreach?
Thank you. First off, thank you for your service, brother. And the only time Army and Navy don't like each other is during the football game. You already know.
That's it. That's
But
it. That's
outside
it.
of that,
Cool.
we're
Cool.
lockstep. But thank you for your service. Uh, what I've discovered, not just in the last 10 years as a legislator, but my last 42 years, and I started this when I was in the Navy. I grew up without a father. My mother and my dad separated when I was 6 months old. I never met my dad. He left this world never having to had the opportunity to meet his son. And there was something inside of me before I even had started a family, or there was something inside of me when I became a naval officer to start reaching back into the community, because I realized a significant number of Black men um, who were young teenagers in the same predicament that I grew up in. And so I started mentoring these young Black men. And now, fast forward the last 42 years, some of those young men that I mentored, they're doing very well in the Navy. One just became a captain, '06, which is a colonel in your world. He just became a '06 captain. Another young man that I mentored many moons ago was a retired Master Chief, E9. And I'm just using these couple of examples because we have to demonstrate to our young Black men that, one, that we care about them, and we got to start pouring into them. And in my campaign, these last 6 months, since I've been on the campaign trail, we've been engaging these young Black men. We've been going where they are. We've been going into the barbershops. We've been going into the hood, right? So I'm that kind of governor that I'm not just going to rely on Buckhead. I'm going inside of Bankhead. We gotta go and get our young Black men. They are our future. I just had the opportunity. One of my campaign, she works on my campaign. She's my communications director, and I met her 19-year-old son. And again, just being authentic. And sharp young man. Leadership qualities. But I tell you, when I was speaking to him, it resonated with him, because we have to be the ones that go and let them know that I see you, I hear you, I'm engage you, but more importantly, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. And I gave him my personal phone number, how you can reach out to me. You need a letter of recommendation to go to college. And here's the beautiful thing, Brother Emmanuel. The beautiful thing, when they text you and
Yes,
they
sir.
follow you on social media
Yes, sir.
and they send you a DM,
Mhm.
we know, Brother Sammy, they're hearing us,
Yeah.
and they can engage, right? They may want to go into the military. Well, what was your experience like in the military? Or why did you get into politics? They just want someone to be able to engage and talk to, Brother Emmanuel
Right.
and Brother Sammy and Brother Scott. That's what we need to do. And that's what they seeing in my candidacy as I continue to run for governor.
Okay, we're gonna bring
Hopefully that
Brother
answers your
Stephen
question.
Muhammad. Come with your next question. That was a great
Yes,
answer,
sir.
Representative Derrick Jackson. But Brother Stephen Muhammad.
Yes, and that sort of leads right into what I was dealing with. It's good to meet you, Candidate Jackson. I've seen you around, but this is the first time I'm formally meeting you here on this call here. Mine is dealing with
Brother Steve,
workforce.
let him know, share with him what you're affiliated with and where you live at in the state of Georgia.
Okay, I live in the city of Atlanta. I'm affiliated with Muhammad's Mosque number 15, the Nation of Islam. We also have with one of the largest Black farmers. We have 1,500 acres down in Dawsonville, Georgia, of farmland. And we don't get any money from the state. They cut us out of everything. And I'm dealing with workforce development, and that sort of dovetails right into where you're just coming from workforce development. That exists. We can get money, we can get support in that. The city of Atlanta has funded a program I have in Vine City, so we get that. But it's the entrepreneurship. You talked about the $50,000 that you would give from the $15 billion budget. That you take 1.5%, 10%, 1.5 billion. But in terms of the framework of creating huge opportunities for Black men to uh, get entrepreneurship dollars. They have Invest Atlanta, which is so-so, but how would you create the state level? an opportunity for Black men to create entrepreneurship, to create it and have access to procurement, land access, targeted tax incentives like the West Side TAD and all those other things. How would you focus that down and drill down on making sure that Black men were able to take advantage of those opportunities and not have to come to the table with 50 million to start just to be able to sit there?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Brother Muhammad, and thank you. And you and listen. When I become governor, um, your family that farm 1,500 acres, we're going to make sure that your family, your children, the Bible remind us that a good man, will be able to pass down to that legacy where your children should be able to benefit from. And so we got to be absolutely, let me be abundantly clear, because no other candidate is saying this. I'm my mother's only Black son. She left this world in 2013. And what we have to do is make sure we carve out programs for Black men. That's the reason why that $275 million 4 years ago, that small Black farmers didn't get any, about 10% of it, because it just said farmers. We got to be clear and we got to be intentional, Brother Muhammad. So I'm going to be intentional. We got to save our young Black men. And so we want to create an incubator, workforce development. Let me give you a perfect example. Right in South Fulton, the federal government stopped building a Job Corps 600-room compound for Job Corps. The only thing that's left to do to finish this project, 600 rooms, is $27 million. So all we have to do is carve out some of that surplus money I mentioned earlier, the 15 billion. We're going to carve out $27 million to finish this eyesore project. And it's a beautiful campus, but it's incomplete. This current administration stopped the money, Brother Muhammad. They stopped the money. And so the state, they're doing absolutely nothing. They're just letting it sit there and rot. So when I become governor, going back to my previous point, we're going to teach trade, but we're also going to teach entrepreneurship. We're going to bring in subject matter experts. If they know something about AI, they know something about marketing, sales, we're going to teach these young people these skill sets, because we don't want to just give them a fish. We want to teach them how to fish and how to grow. And the reason why I said there's going to be no strings attached to that $50,000, again, you got to apply, because we want to be an incubator. Let me make this personal. I want to be an incubator of small businesses. So we're going to teach them how to become an entrepreneur. So just like how they becoming influencers, we're going to teach them how to become entrepreneurs. And again, if we can teach these young men, 14, 15, 16 years of age, we're taking them off the street. We're taking them off the corner, because they already know logistics. These water
May I say
boys, they
something
know
here,
logistics.
Brother
They
Derrick?
know logistics. We just got to
You
teach it.
know, you're right, teaching them, but you have people. Now, the thing with that is if you put bureaucrats in those positions of teaching them, it becomes very murky. You'd have to get people like an Emmanuel and some of the men on this line who know entrepreneurship, who have businesses, who are willing to teach and train as well as be an entrepreneur. Those are the things. And I know the Job Corps, the 27 million that is being held up by the Corps of Engineers, they're holding that up. All of these things tie in together to help do what you say. But I would like to get a commitment from you that you would look at men like the men that are on this line to help with that entrepreneurship program, that job training program, so that they can really get real skills and real life, real time training.
Brother
Sir.
Muhammad, you are totally correct, because that's our issue, Representative Derrick Jackson. See, economics is at the forefront of our agenda. I mean, our vote is attached to an economic plan. We have an agenda. We have a plan. You visit on our website and things in that nature. But economics have to be at the forefront and attached with to our vote, because without economics, then why are we talking? To be very honest with you, politics is business, and we clear about how it's business. But what happens is, too often, that's why we don't have people putting us in a category and say minority group. No, we not. Don't do that, because every time in the history have proven, even during the civil rights movement, the history has proven that every time they coupled us with other groups and minority groups, at the end of the day, the black community, black man, is put to the very bottom of the polling poll. We're not no minority group. We are an institution of men. We are an institution of men made up of grandfathers, fathers, uncles, aunties, etc. So therefore, we know what we need. All we're doing is looking for representatives that can align to our agenda and say, yes, I'm willing to help pursue these issues and empower you, brothers, to do what is correct. Because the other thing is this: these people, they got good intentions, they got good hearts, but they can't do nothing in the streets. They can't move nothing. They're scared. So how could you represent a people that you're afraid of? So what we're talking about is really coming to the forefront and really addressing the issues that affect our community, and for those that are the voiceless. The other thing is, we have one of our brothers here from the national from our national committee on this thing on economics, and he's known across the country as King Currency. So, Brother King Currency, on that particular issue, can you say something to our brother before we move on with the rest of the questioning?
Absolutely. Good evening, family. How you doing, my brother Jackson? Okay, so here's where we are, right? History has shown that the Democrats have been hostile towards cryptocurrency and financial literacy. As it stands right now in 2026, there's two laws. One is already passed on July 18th of 2025, thereby changing the monetary system forever with stablecoins. It's called the Genius Act. The next act will pass at the end of this month. It's called the Clarity Act. That will change the fundamental use and application of the dollar in this country and around the world. Our question is, we need to be a fundamental part of the financial education of our community, because we can no longer be continue to be the ones who learn the last, but we suffered first. So what that's saying is we need foundational financial literacy to teach our community exactly what's happening on Wall Street right now, right? Because we have Franklin Templeton and all of these big corporations that are investing billions into crypto, in the understanding that our monetary system is about to change, but our family and children and our communities are not learning about what's happening. Specifically with those two laws, the Genius Act and the Clarity Act, we need real economics, and we have to start on a fundamental level, because our children are going to be left out.
And the other thing is, to add to that, Representative Jackson, we talked about how important it is for all of us to teach our children in our educational system. They're not wait till they get into a junior in high school or a senior in high school, and you're going to teach them of the financial instruments that is used for wealth building and gaining wealth in this country. We need to start that at an elementary level. When you start talking about preschool, the thing is that's happening that people are so unaware of is that you got the preschool pipeline to the prison pipeline. It's no longer the high school prison pipeline. It's starting preschool. So they're going after that. And then we have to understand what it is that we need to do in terms of being able to move this forward. Brother King Currency, I thank you for sharing that and dropping that jewel. I want to move on to Brother Al with his question. Would you unmute your phone, Brother Al?
Okay, thank you, Brother Manuel.
Yes.
Good evening, Brother Jackson. I'm glad to have you be with us on tonight. My question is, my name is Al Zolikoff. First of all, I'm from Cobb County area. I am more or less assistant coordinator of pastors and ministers of General Missionary Baptist Convention of the state of Georgia. My question to you, changing from protest to policy, justice reform in Georgia. Georgia remains one of the nation's leaders in probation length, incarceration rates, and disparities. My question is, how will you convert community frustration into policy victories? regarding policing, reform, ending pre-K to prison pipeline, reducing incarceration, and protecting the rights of the Black man.
Yeah. Thank you, brother Al. You hit the nail on the head. So let me unpack it because you put about 3 or 4 things in there. Let me unpack it in this manner. Dr. King stated that the reason why we have riots is because the voiceless is trying to give their voice to the powerful, to the powerful. And so what we need to do, it goes back to King of Currency and Brother Emmanuel. And I want to be absolutely clear based on the first question that I answered. We need voices of organic Black men in the room. In the room. Not bureaucrats, right? As I stated in my opening, we don't need a governor that's is all about celebrities. We don't need a governor that's a 50-year politician. We don't need that kind of governor.
But Brother Jackson, I got to interrupt you. I want to help you out here. So I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to charge you for what I'm about to say to you. You know, when you're talking to those of us on the front line, we got to keep it 100. So we talking like we're in the barbershop. I mean, this is just real brothers having a conversation. That's all we're trying to do. We don't need, I'm plain and simple, we don't need no gatekeepers keep speaking for us. We are grown enough men that we can speak for ourselves. We don't need nobody any longer translating what we feel and what we think. We can talk for ourselves. We are educated. We are smart. We got battle scars. We got stripes. We done been on the front line. We done been here suffering. So we don't need nobody no longer speaking for us. Black men across Georgia can now speak for ourselves and articulate what we want for our community, for our families, and for our loved ones. And so therefore we can take care of our village. So we don't need, and what he's saying very clearly, we don't, in all due respect, to all of these other organizations and individuals that's been in the game. Fine, push your agenda, but you don't speak for us. You don't speak for us. We speak for ourselves because they haven't spoken for us. The Democratic Party has not spoken for us. The Republican Party have not spoken for us. So what do we think? You think the LGBT community gonna speak for us? No, we speak for ourselves. We are masculine men built on God's foundation. So we're not gonna play with this game. You know, and I know you're a politician, but I know that you also is a Black man and you understand our pain and our suffering, and that's where we need to go. So you can continue with your answer, but I'm not gonna send you an invoice for this little advice here. But we'll talk about the other invoices later on. But go ahead, brother.
No, you listen, you're exactly right. Because here's the beautiful thing. And to go back to Brother Al's question. Because he said, go from protest to policy. Why do we have to protest to begin with? I mean, I'm looking at some very articulate, intelligent Black men. And the reason why we know this language, because I am you. Let's be absolutely clear. Look in the mirror. Let me take my glasses off. When I went into the United States Navy in 1983, there weren't that many Black naval officers. So yeah, we everything where we are today, Brother Emmanuel, we have to fight for.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and as I shared with some brothers on another call, I'm gonna share with you the same thing. When they don't give us a table, we build our own. But what we have to do, we got to do it from the inside out. And that's why I'm asking all of us this evening, right? There's a lot of folks that look like me, but they're not talking like this. They look like me. They look like us. Since we keep it at 100. Because if they were on this call, you will make them cringe, Brother Emmanuel. And the reason why I know they're going to cringe, because I make them cringe every time they get on the stage with me. They're not going to answer Brother Al's question. They're not going to answer Brother Hargrove's question. They're not going to answer Brother Scott, Brother Young. They're not going to answer the question. They're going to give you that celebrity goobly-goop, I call it. They're going to pontificate. That's the reason why I told you, in full transparency, everybody will tell you, right? I'm going to be 100 with you. And I'm going to answer the question this way. And for the other gentleman, Brother Emmanuel will tell you. He said, I'm going to send you the question. I said, I don't want the questions in advance. I don't want the question. I need the questions fresh off the press when you all ask me. So that way you can see the most genuine response, not a canned answer, right? And sometimes I get excited, and my campaign team will tell you, Derrick, sometimes you get the subject and verbs all mixed up. That's true. Because I'm tired of us being taken advantage of.
I thank
That's
you,
why I'm
brother.
running.
I thank you for your passion. We appreciate your passion, because we're not a group of angry black men, and just because we love black don't have nothing to do if we hate white or any other group. We just love ourselves, and we want for ourselves what others want for their community. So we take pride in that. And I thank you for your passion, brother Thaddeus. Can you come with your question, please? This thing is
Yes, good
this thing is
afternoon.
getting hot up in here. So
Yeah, I
Thaddeus,
see that. I
yeah,
see
yeah,
that.
yes, sir. It's getting hot up in here, boy. It's getting hot up in here. Yes, sir.
Thank,
Yes, sir. This is a good
thank
one
you,
tonight. This is a good
Representative
one tonight.
Jackson, for all the passion that I'm hearing in your voice. It just shows that your heart is in what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish as you're running for governor. And I thank you for being here tonight. I am a resident of South Fulton, an educator in Douglas County, and there are things that we see on a daily basis. And I want to talk to you tonight about the mental health crisis, response, and public safety. In the context of one of the things that I'm passionate about, whenever there's a problem, we always send law enforcement first and foremost before we determine what the problem actually is. What I'm saying, Brother Jackson, is that law enforcement remains the default mental health responder in Georgia. And we've seen the results and the outcomes of that being the paradigm of that response. So what I want to ask you tonight is, how would you legislate a shift away from that and toward mental health professionals, crisis teams, and community-based interventions, and reduce police involvement in mental health emergencies and prevent some of the tragic outcomes that we've seen across the state of Georgia? That's my question for you tonight.
Yeah, Brother Thaddeus, man, let me tell you. My cousin, 57 years young, we're going to be burying him this Saturday. He was pulled over for a traffic violation. He was, they brought him in custody at Cobb County Sheriff. And then 12 hours later, he's dead. He's dead. For a traffic violation in the custody of Cobb County Sheriff Department. How is it that a 57-year-old, I don't care if he crossed the wrong yellow line, how is he dead in your city? It should not be, Brother Thaddeus, in 2026, that any of us have a target on our backs where we can't simply get a traffic violation and we end up dead. I'm going to be a governor that's going to really focus on healthcare. I'm going to be a governor that's going to say we're going to take $1 billion to hire clinicians, Black people that look like us, to be on the front line of dealing with this mental health issue. And I know mental health, somebody going to tell me It's too big of an elephant to tackle. Well, let's start, because no one should lose a husband, a father, an uncle, a brother, an auntie, a sister, or a mother to mental health. We got to invest in our society. That goes back, Brother Thaddeus, what I mentioned earlier. I believe it was Brother Al or Brother, someone asked me about the efficiency of the budget and metrics. This $60 billion budget, Brother Emmanuel, it's got to reflect us. A naked military veteran. This young man was 27 years old in DeKalb about 5 or 6 years ago. He's naked, Air Force. Clearly, if you see a black man purely naked running up and down the street, something's wrong with that black man. We don't walk around pure butt naked. He should not, that was somebody's son. He's dead. An individual sleeping in an automobile at a McDonald's or Wendy's back in 2020. How is it that he's dead? He's sleeping in his car. Okay. We got to put an end to this, Brother Thaddeus. We got to put an end to it. We got to start with a governor that says, I care. And we want to take some of this, and the reason why I'm focusing on this $15 billion surplus, because it's a surplus. Those are your dollars, Brother Hargrove. Those are your dollars, Brother Al Zollicoffer. These are your dollars, Brother Joe Chappelle. These are your tax dollars. We got to put these tax dollars to work.
Okay,
we got to put them to work.
That brings
so,
us
Brother
to our
Thaddeus, that's what I would do. We gotta make it we gotta be intentional. We gotta make it a focus to save us, to keep us alive.
That brings you to our next question, Brother Joseph. And Joseph was the one who asked you that question earlier. Brother Joe,
Yeah.
Bring your next question, brother.
Okay, brother Jackson. As I sit in my tax office when I'm supposed to be going home by now, but I ain't headed there yet. But economic, you just talked about economics, economic power, ownership, and legislative leverage context. So the General Assembly, if we can agree, controls the tax incentives, appropriations, and economic development policy. Yet black men seem to remain underrepresented in ownership. My question is, how would you use your legislative experience to ensure organic black men are included in planning, contracting, and ownership tied to Georgia's growth in infrastructure, manufacturing, and housing?
Then, Brother Joe Chappelle, I appreciate these questions. These are very thoughtful questions. And again, as I told Brother Emmanuel, I do not want these questions in advance. He sent them, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to read them because I want to give you all my responses from the heart. And you probably noticed that I have a theme, and it's the theme that I stated in my intro. I'm going to focus on families, our rights, and the military. You notice when I answered Brother Thaddeus, it was around families. Brother Scott, all his questions were around families and our rights. Brother Osborne, around the military. I'm going to wake up every day focusing on families, our rights, and the military. Now, you may say there's other things, but when you narrow it down, when you think about mental health, that's around families. King of currency, those are around families and our rights. And so we got to make sure, Brother Joe, the way I'm going to do this is it's a collective thing. You notice that I kept saying we, voices of organic black men. I'm going to need your input. I'm going to need your input, Brother Emmanuel. This is not, we're creating a relationship. And you know me, Brother Emmanuel, for a number of years. And I know Connie, your beautiful family. And I cannot do this alone, gentlemen. I cannot do this alone. If anybody tell you I can do this alone. They're lying because their lips are moving.
Mm.
And I
Excellent point.
need Brother Stephen Young. I need Brother Muhammad. I need you all, right? You all are going to be teaching entrepreneurship and Bitcoin. I don't know nothing about no Bitcoin. With King of Currency, I don't know nothing about that,
Well, let me tell you
right?
something. I'm
So,
happy.
so
I'm happy his mic. Happy his mic is muted because boy, he would jump in and give you a whole lesson.
yeah, see, because you all need a governor that's going to empower you, give you the resources, Brother Joe. I'm answering the question. And make sure that we don't have legislation that's going to harm us or hurt us.
That brings
And
us
we
to our
got
next
let's
point,
say
brother,
you
brother,
need
brother
a
Julius.
governor. You need a governor to make sure that we don't have legislation that's going to harm us or hurt us. You need a governor that's going to empower you, give you the resources and the tools, and then get out of the way.
Minister Julius Scott, can you come with your next question? That's an excellent point.
Yes, sir. Once again, I'm Julius Scott from Rockdale County. We want to talk about faith institutions have historically mobilized Black civic engagement, yet many men feel disconnected from both church and family and government. I'm sorry. How do you see faith-based and community institutions partnering with state government to restore civic trust, leadership development, and purpose among Black men? And what role should legislation play in supporting that work?
Brother Scott, I have to demonstrate trust to you all first. Trust is a two-way street. I can't expect you all to trust me without me demonstrating how I trust you. Going back to the example I gave you earlier, when I was talking to, my communication director's son, right? And I'm up here talking to him. I'm listening to him. I got eye-to-eye contact. I shook his hand. I'm focusing on him, not being distracted. I'm demonstrating that I trust him and that I will bring him into the fold. I will hire him, right? And we got to do the same thing, Brother Scott, the same way. When we thinking about, again, let me answer it this way. Your question. If the $15 billion surplus, if we don't use those dollars in the most wise, efficient, effective way to help us with the American dream, that starts with home ownership. Now, some may say, Derrick, home ownership is not the American dream. Okay, all right, fine. But I'm answering your question, Brother Scott. Home ownership is where we have an opportunity to play in this economy that Brother Emmanuel was talking about, where you can purchase a home. My mother, bless her soul, she was still alive. When she bought her first house, and I'm giving this example to answer your question, Brother Scott, that house was $18,000. When she died, Brother Scott, in 2013, that same house that was when she bought for $18,000 was now $200,000. So me and my siblings were able to leverage what my mother passed on down to us because there was a program that enabled her a home ownership. We got the reason why a lot of Black and brown communities are renting is because we want a credit score of 800. We need a down payment. We need all these other things that we do not have access to. And so I have a program, a $1 billion program, Brother Scott, and that will assist up to, again, $50,000 of a down payment on your home.
That leads, brother Jeffrey Hargrove. Can you ask your question? Thank you, Representative. Moving on.
Can I
Yes, sir.
answer about the taxes though? I think this is germane on
You
taxes.
can hold that in your closing.
Okay, all right.
Okay, go ahead,
I
brother.
want to answer everybody's question. I want
Yeah,
nobody saying
but
he didn't answer my
hold it to
question.
your closing. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
yes, sir. Let me write it down.
Again,
Write it down. Hold on, give him a second so he won't lose his thought because Brother Jeffrey about to hit him upside the head with another question.
No, Brother Scott. And Brother Joe asked about taxes too. Okay.
Okay.
All
Go
right. Thank
ahead.
you.
Go ahead, Brother Jeff.
Okay, again, Jeff Hargrove from Decula, Georgia. Just, you hit it a number of times, and you said recently we need voices of organic Black men in the room. So my question is, as you know, there's no formal advisory body of Black men with real authority that exists. Would you support legislation creating a statewide organic Black men advisory council that would have binding input on programs, grants, contracts, and implementation, not merely just advisory opinions?
It's an excellent question, Brother Hargrove. And here's the short answer: yes. Here's an even longer answer: the governor appoints over 4,000 individuals throughout the state agencies. The governor can create his own advisory committees without legislation. The governor is a very powerful position, but you need a person that's qualified to understand how to create that as a chief executive officer and as a commander in chief. How to exercise the 10th Amendment. Other candidates running for governor, they don't understand the 10th Amendment. They don't know nothing about the 10th Amendment. They don't know nothing about the Georgia Constitution. And that's the reason why you need an experienced, qualified candidate to be able to look you into your eyes, Brother Hargrove, and say, yes, this is not something that I need to tap dance. I don't do tap dancing. I got 2 left feet. The bottom line is we can get this done. And that's the reason why I kept hinting to this. I can't do this alone. So we will have an advisory committee. I already told Black women, for example, Black women, I told them that we're going to have a Black maternal commission. Why are Black women, our queens, are dying trying to bring life into the world? So I don't need Black men talk about Black maternal health. I need Black women talk about Black maternal health. And it's just a commission by a snap of a finger.
Thank you. Brother Thaddeus, would you come with your question? Don't worry, we got this on tape, so we're going to hold him to his word. We know how to hit the replay button.
But listen, the beautiful thing, Brother Emmanuel, my mother, again, you're going to hear me refer to my mother because, like I said, I never met my dad. But my mother said, Derrick, you don't have to worry about memorizing the truth. You got to memorize when you tell a lie. Because you got to memorize who you told a lie and what was a lie. But when you tell them the truth, you don't got to memorize it.
Right. Go ahead, Brother Thaddeus.
Hey, Brother Jackson, thank you so much, man, for being here tonight and for your answer to Brother Jeff Hargrove's question, because it kind of dovetails into what I want to ask you tonight. I've heard you talk about how that you have developed programs that you tailor for small businesses and entrepreneurship with the $50,000 seed money, if you will, for Black men, and then that you are going to actually need our input as the voices of organic Black men. You're going to need our input. But I want to talk about something that's really dear to my heart, that oftentimes we as Black men, we do the heavy lifting, and then we get pushed to the side when the rewards come in. So what I want to talk to you about, and hope you'll address this specifically, is having a permanent power structure, not a temporary process, not a temporary program, but permanent power structure for Black men in the context of Georgia. I don't believe has ever established a permanent policy body that focuses on Black men and leaving us in power once we have done the heavy lifting to get them where they are. So my question is this, Representative Jackson, what permanent legislative or executive structures as governor would you support, such as commissions, councils, or budgeted offices that's paid for and funded, that to ensure that Black men have ongoing decision-making authority and not just temporary initiatives?
Brother Thaddeus, about 7, maybe 8 years ago, I suggested in the Georgia General Assembly to create the urban division, a urban agency, if you will. Make it a statewide agency that focus on urban needs. We don't have a urban division in Georgia. We represent 33% of the population. We cover, and again, goes back to Brother Emmanuel's point. Our concerns are often left unheard because we don't have a place to place those concerns. So we need an urban division, just like how we have a veteran. We have a veteran administration at the state level to hear the concerns of our veterans. So we have to do the same thing, Brother Thaddeus. We have to have an urban division where the 33% of the population in Georgia have a place to talk about work, environment, pollution, entrepreneurship, whatever the topics are. We need that place. We need a formalized state agency to be able to bring in those inputs, to be able to have a place. But here's the other thing, the part B to your question, Brother Thaddeus. I'm encouraging Black men and young Black men to get involved in politics. I know a lot of folks don't want to get involved in politics, but that's the last frontier for us. The reason why the Reconstruction period was only 12 years, because they kicked all the Black men out of politics in 1877 by one vote. A Black man voted the wrong way, and that vote took them all out. And they thought they were getting some kibbles and bits and some crumbs. These Black men, and there wasn't no Black women in politics then during the Reconstruction. From 1865 to 1877, 12 years, you had Black men setting up HBCUs, you had Black men setting up land grants, you had Black men who were in politics. I would suggest that we create the next Reconstruction period. We have to be involved and engaged at all levels of government, Brother Thaddeus, federal, state, county, municipal, and that's how you do that.
All right, Brother Ben, would you come with your question?
Yeah, so
Brother Ben Brooks. Yes, sir.
yeah, the next question is regarding comprehensive reentry and second chance reform. This is a couple of questions related to this, and would you support comprehensive reentry package that includes limiting employer access to criminal record use for job relevant purposes only, ending corporate prison labor statewide, because many corporations engage in product development through prison labor, and the inmates who build these components don't benefit from it at all, not even on the back end when they are released from prison. Prohibiting discrimination based solely on a felony criminal history. A lot of that is used to lock men and women out of opportunity across America, but particularly also in Georgia as well. And restoring full civil rights after 5 crime-free years. 36 months is the standard that has been in place for many years, that the criminal justice system has determined whether a person has reached a point of rehabilitation. So 5 years certainly should be more than enough time to determine whether a person has re-engaged in any kind of criminal offense to determine whether they should be restored. Most people that have been convicted of a felon, Black, white, whatever, but most Black men have their rights taken from them. So they have less rights than migrants that come from other countries, which is really mind-boggling. And then the other part is establishing a state-funded employer bonding program to eliminate hiring risk. because a lot of employers use background checks to eliminate candidates who have felonies. And with the use of AI and different technology, if anything pops up on that system, they don't even reach the radar. Some states have allowed for now where they won't ask the question until after they've had an interview. But after they had an interview, even if the question comes up, they can still terminate them. So these are elements that are important to criminal justice reform. And then on top of that, my question is, in your years of as a legislature, have you proposed or supported any legislation in these areas to move this agenda forward and have had these conversations regarding these particular areas?
Brother Ben, thank you for the question. I'm going to answer the last question first. Um, I have some awesome colleagues who are fighting the good fight along with me. Just to name a few, the former state representative, Renita Shannon, um, Representative Kim Schofield, Representative Viola Davis, Representative Sandra G. Scott, just to name a few, that I supported their bills around these topics. You mentioned about 6 or 7 different topics, Brother Ben, but I'm just going to answer it with one big answer. When you think about criminal justice reform, I think, no, let me rephrase that. I know we shouldn't look at it as a reform. I think reform doesn't work for us. It's a band-aid. I just finished watching 61st Street on Netflix, a very good show. And he says something, Courtney B. Vance character says something that we do need to do justice, criminal justice, but not reform, but restructure. The systemic racism that's built into the criminal justice system is not a reform approach. We need to restructure it. So that way, minimum mandatory sentences will not have young black men who may be with the wrong crowd of folks at the wrong time, get caught up doing the wrong thing. They don't spend the rest of their life in jail. Or they get out and then they find a way to get back in because our recidivism rate is so high. We got to restructure it. Reform is not the answer. Reform has never worked for us, Brother Ben. We got to restructure this system. We're seeing an individual occupying the Oval Office with 34 felonies and did not see not one day in jail. That in the history of this country, 250-year country, no one ever, not one individual ever had that many felonies and not end up in jail. And so why is it that black and brown family members, men and women, young men, young ladies, end up in jail? We got to restructure this thing. And so we're going to need the voice of the people to help us turn this around. Former Representative Renita Shannon, a dear friend, she's no longer serving under the Gold Dome, but I still consult with her because she fight this good fight. And we gotta make sure that the language in the legislation do not penalize and criminalize us in the wrong way. 2 years ago, they took 30 misdemeanors, Brother Ben, 30 misdemeanors and turned them all into felonies. When you get a felony, you lose your rights. You can't vote. Again, to quote John Lewis, that's wrong. And that's not right. And that's not fair.
Thank you.
We only represent 15.2% of the population in the United States, but 78% in the prison system.
Brother Sammy, come with your question.
I've already asked my question.
You did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's Brother Joe then. That's who I needed. Okay. Brother Joe. Thank you, Brother Sammy. You have to unmute your phone. You still not? Unmuted.
Okay, that next question I had was regarding education.
Okay.
And you mentioned earlier about that, how we're going not only from we're going from preschool to the prison pipeline. That's what we were talking about earlier. So my question is regarding education reform for Black boys and young men. The context is that the legislative policies that we have in place right now, they shape the funding, standards, and accountability, yet outcomes for Black boys remain and young Black men remain alarming. And apparently, your relative, which is 57 years old, so this goes all across all age ranges. My question is, how would you leverage your legislative role to redesign the literacy, vocational education, mentorship, behavioral health, and school to career pipeline so Black boys can be prepared for leadership, innovation, and ownership, and not incarceration?
Brother Joe, listen, the military taught me so much during my 22 years. And I'm sure Brother Sammy and Brother Osborne can attest to this as well. It taught us uh, how to maintain self-control. It taught us leadership and discipline in a structured way. They taught us the most important thing around teamwork. We were taught that if you want to go somewhere far, you got to go as a team. There's no I in team. They taught us the spirit of camaraderie. I mean, the military, there's no other place in the world you get taught these characteristics, these ingredients. And unfortunately, a lot of young men may not get this in school. And so what we need to do, we need to have an ROTC program in every high school. Why should we wait for ROTC to be introduced in high school? Why not introduce ROTC at the junior high, middle school, right? Have someone like a brother James Osborne and a brother Sammy, hire them, right? They getting their military pension. That's great, but give them a salary to teach these young men and young ladies, right? And they may not have to go into the military. I'm not trying to create a pipeline of young people to go to the military, but those skill sets are life changing. How to be able to speak with confidence, how to march. I mean, there's some fundamental value in what the military can take a young man and a young lady from nothing and turn them into leaders. There's no other place in the world. Corporate America, they don't do it. College, they don't have that kind of structure. And so I would suggest get those retired military members, pay them $120,000 a year to teach these young people in middle school, in junior high. Don't wait till high school. Let's get them in the 4th, 5th, 6th grade about military principles. And when we do that, I mean, it's just like mentorship. Gentlemen, you all do a phenomenal job in the community mentoring the next group of leaders. Why can't we institutionalize that in our school system? That's how we reduce recidivism. That's how we reduce crime. That's how we empower them. I can see a brother James Osborne taking a group of young men and young ladies and over the course of a summer or a school and teaching them what he learned in the Marine Corps, right? We don't have to teach them how to kill and shoot, but how to be a leader. Man, I was 17. And so I just think some of the most fundamental, basic things that we have in our society, we just don't leverage it. We just need to give gentlemen like us on this call tonight an opportunity to give back into our society, pay you, right? Well, I'm not talking about volunteers. I'm talking about paying you, right? You got to, and that will give us the return our investment.
Thank you. Thank you. Brother Jeffrey Hargrove, we're down to our final couple of questions, brothers. It's been fabulous. We want to end up strong. Go ahead, brother Hargrove.
All right. So this question is about bridging academic and organic talent. As you know, many capable Black men possess skills without formal credentials. Would you support legislation creating a statewide academic organic talent pipeline linking organizations like Voices of Organic Black Men with universities, HBCUs, Howard University, let's go, technical colleges, apprenticeships, and workforce agencies?
Brother Hargrove, that's an excellent question. Thank you for the question. The short answer is yes. I was just with Brother Gary Davis. I don't know if you all know Brother Gary Davis, but he had about 55, 60 young Black men, and most of them have a rap sheet. Some of them are on court order, Brother Hargrove, and he had their parents in the room too. And over an 8-week, 9-week period, every Saturday, they meet for 4 hours. And they're talking about the do's and the don'ts about the law. They're educating them. They're creating another pathway for them to not end up in prison for a lifetime. And I just think, Brother Hargrove, when do we as a society look at, and I'm just talking about Black men, for example. I'm not discounting nobody else. So
Well,
I'm just talking about Black men.
But Derrick, you don't have to be apologetic about what you're saying because you're talking to us. And that's why we the voices of organic Black men. We are organic because we come out of direct pain and suffering that we see in our communities every day. We're not apologetic about that. We're not apologetic about loving ourselves and want to make life better in our community. That's our responsibility. It's not no responsibility for anybody else to come in and try to save us. We have to come and save our own family, our own young men, our own young women, and etc. So you don't have to be apologetic because you want to talk straight to us. This is our conversation. On their forum, you can talk about what they want to talk about. But these are our concerns and issues. And so we, don't worry about that, dear. This conversation is about us.
Listen, I know we got some queens on the call, so I just want to, that's why.
Well, the sisters are here. The sisters are here because they want to listen in and see what the brothers really feeling. And so therefore, when Black men take the lead and the responsibility that the Creator have installed upon us, just basically as men, we are masculine men. We are alpha and apex alpha men. So, we're not going to be apologetic about that.
That's right. That's right. Listen, I'm just being respectful.
Yes, sir.
So yes, I agree. So, but let me be abundantly clear. As one, I love my wife dearly. And as I share with you all, we have seven, 4 daughters and 3 sons.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I get it. But I want to answer this question in a more clear, succinct way. Right? I don't want nobody second guessing. If we don't do this in 2026, everything that we discussed tonight, gentlemen, it's never going to happen. It will not happen. It will not happen, Brother Emmanuel. It will not happen. If you start listening to all the folks who are running, they're clearly telling you. Because see, we disregarded this 2 years ago. Brother Hargrove, Brother Al, Brother Thaddeus, the person said, if you let me in office, I'm going to make sure you don't have any rights. Your families are going to go bankrupt, and I'm going to take your money. I mean, we just ignored Project 2025. So I'm suggesting to you all, brothers, tonight, let us create a Project 2026.
Well, you go to
by
our
making
website.
sure.
You go to our website. You'll see a very extensive agenda. I mean, it's spelled out. We have our agenda. See, the thing is, this is what we got to understand. I don't care what no other group of people put together. That's their agenda. The LGBT community, they have their agenda. The Asian community, they have their agenda. The Latino community, they have their agenda. The Asian community, they have their agenda. The Jewish community, they have their agenda. The Southern Baptists, they have their agenda. We as black men, organic black men, we have our agenda and we coming to the table looking for an alliance. We don't care about no Republican Party, Democrat Party, because both of them have let us down and have forgotten us. And that's why Kamala Harris is not president right now, because she did not come out and really reach out to black men in the community on the ground across the country. And we're saying now, here we are in Georgia, and black men is going to determine the outcome of this next gubernatorial election in Georgia. Make no mistake about it. Black men is going to determine who's going to be sitting in that seat. And so therefore, we're very clear about that. And all we're saying is, brother, we thank you for that comment. Brother Thaddeus, could you come with your question?
Already gave my second question.
Okay. Then it's Brother Ben. So, I apologize for that.
And I still owe Brother Scott and Brother Joe an answer on taxes.
Oh, you're going to get that in your closing. Brother Ben?
All right. So the remaining question regarding property taxes, and you kind of touched on that earlier when you mentioned about families being taxed out of their homes. But the bill HB 581 and the tax equity context of this, there was that bill that allowed counties to opt out of the amendment that citizens supported to cap the property tax increases to the rate of inflation. That opt-out allowed counties to opt out of it, which therefore create a dual tax system because counties can actually collect on both systems. So it allowed for that ambiguity, but it also put taxpayers back into the frying pan, if you will, because taxes are increasing, and all of the counties and a lot of the school boards opted out and said, hey, no, we don't want to be capped at that. We want to be able to raise as much revenue as we can. So within that context, do you support legislation that if it came across your desk, because as governor, you wouldn't actually be proposing legislation, you will be either vetoing or signing legislation. So in that regard, if a bill came across your desk that protected Georgia homeowners and capped the property tax rates, would you be supportive of that?
That's the question. And remember, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. I'm repeating myself. My metric for legislation, gentlemen, I will fight against legislation that's going to hurt us and harm us. I only promote legislation that's going to help us. That bill, Brother Ben, that you're talking about, I voted against that bill for the very reason you just stated. It's wrong. It's wrong. You have 159 counties, 537 cities. These cities and counties are not created equal. So why is it that a home in DeKalb that's may be $500,000 is being equated with a home in Buckhead that's $30 million?
Well, I just want to add to this.
They're using a consumer index. Oh, go ahead.
Just wanted to cut you off just for 1 second, let you finish. I'm also a broker, so I'm very familiar with real estate and how real estate operates and fair market value. and everything else like that. So the issue is really, when it comes down to it, how do we protect families and homeowners, and particularly Black families, because our incomes a lot of times are lower than everyone else's, so we get hit harder on the tax end. So how do you go about, and will you support that in that end, in terms of protecting homeowners in regards, because most metro counties, and these are most Democratic counties, if you will, they opted out to be able to raise the taxes higher. So that's a concerning point, because these are the same counties and representatives and senators and so forth that say, hey, our people are hurting, but they supported the same legislative bill.
Right, right. And thank you for that clarification, Brother Ben, on letting me know that you're a realtor. My wife is also a realtor. And so what I suggested when I voted against that bill is we need to bring realtors in the room. See, because what was happening, most of the voices that influenced that bill all came around the 14, 15 counties around Atlanta Metro. They didn't take in the voices of Valdosta and Albany and Savannah and Augusta. They didn't get those voices, and that's where it was wrong. And so, but the bill also states that it's not just a county centric, it is a statewide taxation. Georgia stopped this statewide taxation in 2016. So why in the world, if you stopped it in 2016, you're going to bring it back in 2025 when that bill when we were going back and forth? So I voted no for the very reasons that you stated, because it was a double whammy to Black and brown communities. We don't have the same level of access to capital. Our homes are valued. Even appraisers, you know this, Brother Ben, the appraisers appraise our homes at a different rate and a different value. And so if the playing field is going to be fair, that's one thing. But unfortunately, and you know this better than me, Brother Ben, because you're in that world, the playing field is not fair and it's unequal.
So
So
more
what we need to do,
redlining going on, huh?
yes, sir. And so what we need to do, Brother Ben, is bring in realtors from across the state of Georgia, and let's develop a real bill. So again, we don't tax out Mother Johnson, that's 92. We don't tax out a young family. Again, this goes back to my family's piece. We don't tax out Emmanuel and Connie out of their homes, right? Because see, the way taxes work, and we know this, gentlemen, once you purchase your home and you got the deed, if you don't pay the taxes, you can still lose that house.
Right. Want to thank you.
That's not right,
Want to
Brother
thank you.
Hargrove. That's not right, Brother Al. That's not right.
Want to thank you, brother, Representative Derrick Jackson. We want to have one of our national members, Brother Stephen Young, to give a couple of words, and then Brother Jackson, you will have the closing statement, and we will then have our prayer. But I want to say to you, we're very appreciative of you giving us this time. We try to keep it at an hour and a half, and we right at that key point right now, because 8:30 is supposed to be the cutoff, so we're right there, and I'm very thankful for that. But I see Brother Stephen Young, would you like to share something with everybody here in the state of Georgia, and how you feel about what you heard this evening?
Yeah, peace and blessings, brothers, and Representative Derrick Jackson. It's been a pleasure listening to you. One that would listen at this moment, and I want everyone to remember the appearance that you see right now. Sometimes the presence speaks louder than words. And I want you to understand, I want everybody to understand, being silent sometimes means that I'm a listener and I'm taking it in so we can hold everybody accountable for what we have to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Stephen Young. I appreciate appreciate you tuning in. And I mean, you tuned in at the beginning and you still here. And I'm very thankful for that. Brother Derrick Jackson, can you take 3 minutes for any closing remarks that you need to cover? And we're very thankful for you and your passion that you shared with us this evening. I think it was very impressive to us, and your willingness to just be open and frank and honest. And so we're very grateful for that. And I know that you did it out of sincerity of your heart because you're sitting with your brothers. And so why can't you be sincere with your brothers? And that's very important to us. So brother Derrick Jackson, we want to let you close it.
First off, again, thank you, Brother Emmanuel, for the invitation to be with some strong giants this evening, voices of organic Black men. There's no other place that's more knowledgeable this evening than right here. And I'm not saying that, as they say, the young people say, gaslighting. No, we have institutional knowledge from the beginning of time back in Egypt. We were building pyramids. So this ain't nothing new for us. We're mathematicians, we're scientists, we're educators, we're business leaders, we're teachers, we're mentors. We are part of the community that's often left silent. Silent. So thank you for raising your voices the evening.
Thank you so much. But we're gonna one of our sisters. Although I'm gonna get whooped if I don't let her share some words. Sister Jacqueline Lewis, can you unmute your phone?
Well, certainly yield. I didn't know Jacqueline's on here. Listen. I would yield before I do any kind of closing.
I knew you would do that. I knew you would do that.
Yeah.
Sister, would you like to take a minute and say something to the listening audience?
Yes, good evening, good evening. This was very educational because for me, the only time you hear from candidates is the year of the election. You don't hear from them prior to that about what their platform is, what their goals are, until it's time to go out and vote for them. And I've always said that they'll come knocking on your door and ask for your vote, give you a T-shirt, want to put a sign in your yard and all, but you don't know anything about them. You don't know what their platform is. And I really, really enjoyed listening to you guys and listening to Derrick. Derrick was one of our hosts on Our Point of View talk show. So I always, if I had any political questions, I always would go to him. And he was just amazing. And I'm just so excited. I even text Connie and asked her, how do I get to ask a question? But I didn't realize this was just a panel for the men. But I think that Derrick should have a panel for women, for us to come to him and voice our opinions, what it is we need and what we want and what we're looking for our community. And I think that's something that we should do. And I really, really appreciate the fact that every time I turn around, Derrick is there. He is talking about his platform, what it is he wants to do for the community, what, his military career, everything. I love that. So when I go to the polls and I vote for someone, I'll know that person like he's a family member or a friend because, I know what his platform is. But I won't have to go there and just say, well, I don't know this person. This name sounds familiar. Or he's Black, or he's white, or he's a Republican, or he's a Democrat. This way I'll get to know the person and I'll know that they're looking out for our interests, our best interests.
And that's why we having these series because we're going to be doing a Zoom with each of the candidates and posing the same questions to them based on their record and their service, and we're gonna see where they stand. But I thank you, Sister Jacqueline Lewis, for sending me a note through the person that can make me move when I don't feel like moving, and y'all know who she is. So she got to me, so I wanted to just buzz you in. Thank you so very much, Brother Derrick. You can finish and close out.
Again, Jacqueline, it's always great hearing you and seeing you. And then again, Connie, as I stated earlier, I the authenticity is my greatest strength. It's who my mother raised me. I don't do things for the applause. I don't do things for titles. I'm only running for governor for the results to make sure those three things that I share with you all for the last hour and a half. Protecting our families, making sure our families have a fair shot in Georgia. Protecting our rights. We have two grandsons. One is 6 years old and the other one is 4 months old. Dr. King is not here. John Lewis is no longer here. We are here. Voices of organic Black men. We're here to protect our rights.
And we're not going nowhere.
And then the military veteran. I am, that's part of my DNA. It's my leadership skills. It's my vision. It's my experience. And I'm the only candidate that's running. And it's not an arrogant statement. It's just what it is. No one else, Brother Emmanuel, Brother Young, have my resume. It's just what God has ordained since I was 17. If I went back and told that 17-year-old that one day you're going to be running for governor, he'd probably say, me? No, not me. But God ordered my steps. He ordained my steps, Brother Hargrove. He ordained my steps, Brother Thaddeus. And that's the reason why, if I may quote James Baldwin, James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed. But gentlemen, we also know nothing can be changed if we don't face it.
Right.
This $15 billion, Brother Emmanuel, those are our tax dollars. But if we can't get access to it because we don't have a governor that understands us or perfectly aligned with us, Brother Sammy, and that's the reason why these taxes, Brother Joe, I didn't forget. Brother Scott, I didn't forget. Taxes, I'm the only candidate that says that nurses, no state taxes. Educators, Brother Thaddeus, no state taxes. Over the age of 65, no state taxes. Military, no state taxes. Now, somebody may say, why not everyone? Because the military taught me, and when I was at GE as a chief executive, you don't swing the pendulum way far, Ben. Brother Ben, you got to do it in incremental steps. There's going to be some days, Brother Stephen Young, that I got a plan for. But while we're planning for execution, we can help families along the way. And so we're going to make sure that over the age of 65, educators, nurses, and military, they'll be the first group, no state taxes. The last final piece is this. I want you all to go vote DerrickJackson.org. That's my website. I'm the only candidate that came out with a plan when I announced. Everyone else, they still don't have a plan. You go to their website, Brother Emmanuel, they still don't have a plan. They're asking for money, right? We all need money. Lord knows we need money. Running for governor is expensive. But I have a plan. So I'm going to ask you to invest in this campaign. And oh yeah, by the way, here's the way that they're trying to stop me, Brother Young. I can't raise no money while I'm in session. They say, if you don't like it, Derrick, resign. Well, I can't introduce laws if I resign, Brother Emmanuel. So I need this. I need to finish what we started. I need to be a legislator. I need to be in the ring. I need to be in the room where voices of organic black men you all can't be. You need this tag to be in the room. So I'm not going to resign. But what I need help, I have 7 more days to raise money. I need help. Because they told me it would be illegal for me to raise money. Now, guess what? Brother Emmanuel, they can raise money. The Republicans can raise money, but I can't. So they're trying to stop us. And they're threatened by my candidacy for governor. Brother Hargrove, they're threatened because they don't have a candidate with 42 years of experience. They don't have a candidate that could be the chief executive officer. They don't have a candidate that could be the commander in chief. They don't have a candidate because they know when we win the primary, we will win the general election. But here's the other thing. My own Democratic Party, they don't want me to win neither because they're saying that $1.5 billion, Brother Sammy, that I'm going to give entrepreneurs, they're saying that I'm saying that it's reparation. I did not mention not one word of reparations tonight. But because, Brother Stephen Young, I want to give and help us, my own party don't want me to win. So I'm fighting 2 different fights, gentlemen. I'm fighting 2 different fights. Go to voteDerrickJackson.org. Share my platform as Brother Emmanuel, as you stated. No other candidate that you all going to interview. You ain't gonna see the same passion. They're gonna sound like a politician or a celebrity because that's who they are. They're gonna look like us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Brother Jeff, can you close us out in prayer?
Yes, sir. Am I unmuted? All right.
Yes.
Let's pray, brothers. Father, we bless your name. We give you praise, honor, and glory, God. We thank you for this time. We thank you for these men and these sisters that are on this call, God. And we thank you for our brother Jackson. And we just pray now, God, that you would bless everybody that has been a part of this night, God, that you would bless, Father, our hearts, our desires, God, that you would bless our community. Pray blessing over his campaign, God, and that you would continue to lead, guide, and direct him, Father, as he goes forward, God. Bless and cover our families, God, our communities, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray and we thank you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, brothers. Thank you.
Amen.
And let's give a good hand for our brother for coming on this evening. We thank him. We thank you, brother, and we wish you Godspeed and the best of blessings for a very bright future for Georgia. Thank you again for coming on and listening to our Zoom. We will be on Sunday with another guest, and I will send that notice out to everyone. But thank you all for participating in tonight's discussion with State Representative Derrick Jackson running for governor of the state of Georgia. Thank you again, and may God bless each and every one of you. Peace, family. We out of here.
Yeah.